All right, Friday recap today. Um, learn a decent amount from today. Um, Starting off, so recently I've been trying to figure out, I have a model, but I'm struggling to recognize good conditions to put the risk on. So I was trying to find out like the best ways to figure this out, right? And a really big thing that I was not told about really was every single first week of the month is NFP week basically. Um, and Monday and Tuesday almost always have pretty good action. Those 2 days are perfectly fine to trade, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are all lower probability days. Um, and especially the day of NFP, that day is supposedly like just not as readable. So going into the future, every single first week of the month, I will trade normally Monday, Tuesday, um, but I will half my risk on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And yeah, going forward, that's something I will definitely need to implement. Um, but yeah, like really, I'm at the point right now where I understand my model and I understand like when it's perfectly set up, but it's just I need to recognize the conditions, and in order to understand those conditions, I need experience. So really now it's just about collecting data and when the highest probability days are and when the lowest probability days are. And today was one of those lower probability days. So I just, even though I did want to trade today, I thought it was going to be pretty good. It ended up being pretty good. There was pretty good price action today. I refrained from doing so, and that does take a lot, but it shows how much I am growing as a trader. Um, I'm not just trying to jump in right away. Even people are saying that it's bad, I'm not saying that I know better, the person who said this has decades of trading knowledge and decades of data that he has collected. And so I trust him. He also is the creator of the concepts that I use, ICT. So, I'm gonna take his words pretty strongly and I'm going to believe him because that's what uh, my stuff is based on, what so many people's living wages are based on, and living above the means and financial freedoms, all based on this dude. And so I'm gonna follow that. But I still want to just go over the general concepts from today because they were overall pretty good. Um, yeah, so let's go on the 15 minute right away, right? Don't bother with all the markings over there. That's a lot of nonsense. Let's see. Yeah, so we're in this range, right? And so the way ICT was describing it this morning, right, is he was like, so we have all these stack lows, right? NFP likes to take out traders that are expecting to be safe, which would be these traders up here, right? So the obvious draw would be down here. This is where all the stops are. This is where, I believe we will definitely reach down to at some point, probably next week, and sweep all these lows. But NFP is unexpected. So this it was NFP right here, this giant shoot up here. So we swept out all those stops and at 8:30, right? Yeah, so this is the 8:30 candle. And so, yeah, there was nothing with London or Asia, so I'm not going to show that either. But yeah, so we came up into this 15-minute fair value gap, right? Tech, yeah, we did kind of close above it, but we filled this whole entire range in. Um, we did the same thing on ES. We didn't sweep out anything. We're still inside of it on ES. So honestly, I would use that as still respecting and as a confluence. So we're in this 15 minute. We swept out all these buy stops, and we have another thing that I learned today is opening range gap. The 50% of the opening range gap gets filled 90%, I mean 70% of the time to the 50% mark. So what that means, right, is oh my God, this thing is fucking annoying me, bro. Holy shit. Um, you go to regular trading hours, right? And this is the trading hours from 4:15 when market closes and market open for New York session. So it's just the New York session trading time from 9:30 to 4:15. So you take from the closing price to the opening price, the midpoint right here, 70% of the time it gets filled, right? So either we wanted to see this get filled first and then shoot up to get those buy stops, or sweep those buy stops and then go down to the opening range gap. Um, so yeah, we're gonna keep that level in mind, and yeah, we're gonna keep that in mind. So yeah, we shot all the way up. We're in this 15-minute gap, right? And my strategy would be 9:45 to 10:15 during the macro time to see some displacement and enter on a fair value gap, right? So we come down, we displace through this low, we respect this fair value gap pre-market. So that's a trade on its own if you want to take that, but it's not when I trade. You displace down again, and then we start chopping a lot. We have this bearish fair value gap up here that we are supporting right here, right? So we have this SIBI right there. We're respecting that, and we also have this BISI right here. So we're like in between for value gaps basically. So the way I'm looking at this, right, is we have this opening range gap to fill and all that. So I want to see one of these get inversed, and I want to see a fair value gap from a displacement. Um, so we support this level right here, and then we inverse it, we come back up, we inverse it. Um, and like as you can see, like the price action is not favorable. It doesn't go like as perfectly as you want. Um, Also, something to add real quick is that the real imbalance, fair value gaps are the imbalance, right? There's a volume imbalance right here. Oh, it's right here. So technically the fair value gap would be right here, or the imbalance would be right there. This would be the whole imbalance. So we look for this to be supported. Um, yeah, some weird shit right there, right? But then so this counts as an inverse kind of inverse it again, right? So we're still counting this as an inverse rally gap supporting this, right? So I want to see if we can distribute down from here. And that's what we do. We get this fair value gap right here, displacement through a low. Um, and so that and yeah, the entry would have been 952, so perfectly inside the macro. So that would have been the entry itself. Stops could have been up here, but to be safe, because of NFP, I probably would have put it at the 25 handle mark. And then target opening range gap, which would have been a 3.5 R. And then second TP would have been these lows right here. And then third TP would have been this low, and fourth this low. So I would have hit all the TPs actually. But yeah, that would have came out to a 7 RR. So really good trade from that. Um, Another thing to look at is we came through and we closed below the opening range gap. We had this for value gap, and we had a 5 minute for value gap right here. Um, and we saw displacement out of it. But after that, as you can see, we just we chopped right after. Um, so not really any good price action afterwards. I'm trying to see if there's something else we could have taken something on. Uh, yeah, no, that's really it for today. But like, yeah, as you can see, we had pretty good price action today. Pretty favorable. There was this turtle soup, and I want to see if we had an SMT. Um, Hold on. Okay, yeah, we had a turtle soup SMT. We saw displacement down. We had this fair value gap aligned with this order block right here. You could have taken entry right there, but I don't know. You would have had your stop up here probably. It's a 38 point stop, and it wouldn't even hit. It wouldn't even hit your TP. So realistically, it was kind of a shitty trade. If you entered off just a turtle soup S&T, that would have been a trade, but that's not what I enter off of. I enter off of fair value gaps and imbalances. So, uh, yeah, and yeah, we're just ranging right now. So, but yeah, right off the bat, we learned a couple of things, right? We learned just conditions wise on NFP week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is automatically lower probability, half my size. And true imbalances are you include the volume imbalances with the fair value gap, so just make sure you're drawing that out. Uh, and it's really, it's as simple as finding displacement from some sort of PD array and then entering off of a fair value gap. And that's just the entry, man. Like it provided a lot. And if you went down to the 15 second, I believe the imbalance is like right here or something. And if you literally just took it to the opening range gap, it would have been just that would have been almost an 8 RR. And if you took it to the final TP, and let's just say theoretically you held it all the way, which like that's kind of crazy. But if you were that ballsy, 16 RR. So, t today was honestly not too terrible for NFB. But I don't regret not trading because it's, low probability and I'm just preserving my capital right now. As soon as I get above a certain amount, I will start trading low risk on these days. Um, but yeah, that's it for today. Pretty simple.